Welcome back. Last time we were out here, we were getting the majority of this subfloor down, although not quite finished because of stairs and other stuff. So we're going to work on finishing this strip over here. Got a little bit of brick to install here. Get that back door open, get that spot filled in. But we're gonna have some fun. We need to start cutting the subfloor off, evaluating what is going on with the condition of the joists up front and in the back here. I think we're gonna have a lot of bad joists, but maybe some that are good. I guess we'll see and find out. We thought most of the first floor was good, and it turned out none of them were, or like 3 were. So we'll poke and prod and look. And Dave's already up there making some dust to start cutting up the subfloor up there. So other thing, we can get rid of these steps that are continuing to fall apart. They already were falling apart. We got some braces to keep them together just a little bit longer. You can see how they've separated. So I will tread lightly. We can always put up a ladder if we need to. So there were some sheets up here over some holes in the floor from when we replaced the roof, and then the demo guys were here clearing things out. So as you can see, the existing floor, there are some spots that are halfway decent, but no reason to try to patch it back together, especially if we're gonna end up pulling joists out. So we'll start cutting the strips of that out, working from the front to the middle, and then we will need a ladder to get up back there. You can see that is also pretty rough. So with that, let's get at it.
I found something good for you.
Oh.
You need your shoe horn.
Oh, yeah.
Reach.
Yeah, that is a problem some days. When I've been working hard and all my muscles get stiff, that would be really helpful.
Shoe on it.
There's just there was so much good stuff in here. Yeah. Luckily we got Jesus on the cross looking over us.
Keep us safe.
All right. Yeah. So we will be safe and we will get started. Oh, so remember the radiators that were up here, there, and there in the last video? And we broke them up because they were going to be way too heavy to try to carry out, and we couldn't get them apart in pieces. So we took them into the scrap yard, and together they weighed 900 pounds. So yeah, we were definitely not carrying those out of here ourselves. My thought of a giant electromagnet through the window is probably about the only way that was going to happen. If we were tougher people, maybe we could have carried those out. But you saw the condition of the stairs. I think we would have been taking the express route to the basement. Well, we took those radiators into the scrapyard, and by coincidence, the Missouri Division of Weights and Measures showed up to check the scale right after we came in to unload. So we pulled around and ended up first in line behind them. So we wait, but it's a good thing to see that they're making sure the scale is calibrated. Interesting process. Drove over slowly, checked things out. It was almost exactly at 50,000 pounds, and then unloaded 21,000 pounds of weights, and it read 21,060. I'm assuming it was supposed to be 21,000. I don't know. 60 pounds off doesn't seem bad for 21,000 pounds. And if you don't know, these big scales read in 20-pound increments. Sorry, we do use Freedom units for those out of the US. Honestly, metric would be better. Whatever. That's a different video. But it's an interesting process.
cool's good. It's a little bit out of square. On the bottom only.
Huh. I guess we better fix that.
That's weird. Top is. No, that top is off.
Yeah. Question is, did they install it out of square? Or did it just end up out of square? I don't think it really matters. It's going.
No, I can tell because of water in it.
Speaking of out of square, I don't know how well you can tell, but this window has sank substantially. Words are hard on the right side. And you can actually see it really well from the outside. And that's part of why we think this whole wall uniformly sank. And you probably can't really tell that well, but this whole floor is tilted to the left. So that's why those pockets, a couple of videos on the first floor, didn't work anymore to get a level floor. So we're gonna fight that in some way again. We'll see.
Is this a water level usage?
Oh yeah. Yep, there's level.
Water level. Oh man, it's spring loaded too. Look at that baby.
Wow, that is fancy.
Yeah. Really use the shoes on the bed.
So pretty typical here, just cut into strips on either side of the joists. Although kind of making just a trench on the first part here over the door below. And then they'll, in this case, pull them out or they'll drop through. May have to beat them off with a sledgehammer at certain points. But with as much water as this floor took on, it cuts pretty easily. Yeah. And then besides that piece of quarter round, I assume the owner wants us to preserve this front trim around these windows. This is a historic tax credit project, so details matter. Not that details shouldn't matter anyway. Always want it to look nice. We are rebuilding better after all. So they're peeling up pretty easily, just like down below. The nails really, well, maybe I spoke too soon. The nail right there is actually holding, but it seems like a lot of them are not too well.
The dry swiggles.
Yep. So, taking a closer look at the joists here, they're okay.
Towards the front there.
Yeah. We'll have to poke and prod and see, but that's not the greatest. Wow, you can actually see right there.
What?
See how unsquare they put these. Man, they just did not care. It's funny. And it just didn't matter as much with the planks because you cut them to length. It's easier. But to redo this stair opening, we're probably going to have to tear a chunk of this out. We're going to end up with some LVLs in here. And the way this comes through, double out there for the chimney, and then they double that. But it doesn't even run all the way across here. There was a wall there, so that helped that, but this all changes. So we're gonna have to redo this. And those tenons may be not great. We'll see, but I do suspect a good chunk of this is coming out. Meanwhile, the subfloor is definitely coming out. Nice to have the brickwork finally finished up. I do enjoy working with brick, both laying and tuck pointing, but I am definitely no mason. Good enough to do small stuff and tuck point hole walls, that stuff, but I don't think I'd want to be laying brick every day. Next up is filling in this L here, and it's going to be a little fun because these are not square. We'll get it figured out, see what it needs. Alright, we got our, oh, helps to turn on. Got our L piece cut here. It should fit nicely into place. So, first step is to apply our adhesive. That is what does most of the holding power on the floor joists. All right. And we should just be able to slide this back into place. Ah, nice. All right. Gonna need a little. There we go. 2x4. Gonna need to pry a little. And looks like we're slightly off right there. So should be an easy solution to just use a hammer. It doesn't want to stay. There we go. And that still looks good. Alright. All we gotta do is nail it off. Between water and time, the plaster debonds and it just falls apart like that. I really only needed just a little bit off the bottom here to slide the subfloor in, but if it's loose, might as well knock it off now. Let it fall to the basement. Be a problem for another day. It's honestly kind of satisfying work. Alright. That's actually more solid back this way. I don't normally like to just bury my mess like this, but in this case we don't have a dumpster right here right now, and we already have to shovel the basement, so I'm basically just adding to the pile that already needs to be shoveled anyway. Well, the floor up here is disappearing rapidly. Basically working back to the steps at this point.
Yeah, you gotta do it right so you don't paint yourself into a corner.
Good thing we got a ladder.
Oh.
Slowly the island shrinks. Not gonna be as fun picking everything up, unfortunately. Well, it's Friday. Time to get out of here. Next week, we will carry on with the work up here. Start checking out the ends of these joists. See what we got. Consolidate our pile a little bit, and hopefully we can get a dumpster out here next week as well. We shall see. Well, it's Monday morning, back at it. So, got a good chunk of this done on Friday. And time to start cutting up the remnants here. And then, after that is done, we can probably very lightly tap on these stairs, and they will probably just fall right down, which will either be fun or terrifying. I don't know.
Good, leave it there. Start to break at the net.
Where is it actually gonna break though? I don't know.
Stretch that where you tied it.
This is a riveting video. How much? There we go. It broke down here. Now that the rain has passed, we can get the board over the back door opening taken off without water pouring in. So get this last section here patched in place, and it works out that once we take those plinth blocks off, the subfloor will be more or less even with that big limestone threshold there. So that works out pretty nicely. So pop those off. Looks like we need to knock a little more plaster off back here to get it. And then when we reboard this, we will push the board out so that when the rain comes in just a couple days, it looks like it won't be pouring through and getting our new work all soaking wet, because of course that was the problem before. They call him Dusty Dave. I feel like I'm running the dredge.
Oh yeah? Job is kind of
thing where we record stuff.
Yeah.
And we make YouTube videos.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah. First day on the job?
Yeah. I wish. Wish it was my last day on the job.
The heck?
I gotta stand on it.
What's that tight now? It had no problem before. Do we have expansive wood again?
It's very cornered.
It's moving. Oh, it went in. It just needed a good jerk.
Yeah.
Never good to force it when it doesn't want to go. Oh, of course. Uh-oh. We're under attack.
It's 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock on the first Monday of the month. So this piece worked out pretty nicely. It helped that we actually had a factory cut to a factory cut down there. But here, as is typical, we had a diagonal slightly at the door opening. Lost, give or take, 3/4 of an inch. A little notch around a brick at the end there. But it worked out pretty nicely at the limestone here. Got a nice cut along there, really close, but not in contact. And it looks like there's just a little bit of a lean on the limestone. That at this point is what it is. That's not coming back up to level, but the threshold of the door will cover over that, and it'll basically disappear. Probably need a little shim to hold the threshold up, and then caulk takes care of the rest. So all good. That's honestly, for the situation that we got here, all things considered, that's about as good as you can ask for. So I'll be happy with that. We got that last gap filled in, so that takes care of this whole back part. We're actually, instead of boarding this, we'll board it today, but we're gonna go look if we can find a cheap used exterior door, like at the Habitat Restore or something like that, and stick that in there. Seems easier than opening and closing the board every time, more secure. So we'll see what we find. Well, that takes care of this part up here. All clear. So from below, we're gonna have to get our pile away from the walls there. Then check out all of these joists individually, just like we did on the first floor. These look okay over here. Everything was worse on this side though, so you really don't know until you can actually get to each individual joist and poke and prod. So hard to say. We also don't know exactly when we're going to get a dumpster here, so we're going to have to deal with this for a little while. I don't like a messy work site. A clean work site is a safer work site, but between weather and other things, we're delaying getting the dumpster a little bit, but we can consolidate this. And then we're not tripping over it or anything. We've already cleaned walkways, so we'll see. Well, we walked over to the other building across the street. Got a little bit of work in here eventually, but that's not why we're here today. There may be a door in here that we can put in the back door instead of buying a used door. So we're gonna open the board and see what we got. So another exciting space here. The second floor is surprisingly actually in much better condition. I never quite understand how things happen, but I guess the door is behind the pile of wood scraps there. So this has got a variety of floor issues. Shouldn't need too much in the way of joist replacement or sistering, but looks like it needs a new subfloor because, you know, don't want to see through or take a bad step when you're trying to get to the bathroom. But this does have a new roof just within the last couple of weeks and has had some masonry work done, and I think the building permit's coming soon. So look for at least a little bit of videos from here at some point this year. Well, we're in luck. We needed a 34-inch door, and that is a 34-inch exterior door, and it's even hinged on the correct side, although it only has one hinge. So we'll have to grab a couple hinges, and there doesn't appear to be any keys for that lock set, but we can secure it from the inside at this point at least. So why not reuse what's already here instead of spending $30, $50 on another thing?
We got our cable for our cable TV laying here, so we can.
Oh, good. We can come over here for lunch and watch TV. We got the one hinge on the door, and then there's a hinge from the old storm door here. So between those two, that should be enough to get the door hung up there for the moment at least. It's a little smaller, but it should still work. So checking things out up here as far as the joists go, and obviously that's no bueno. Quite a chunk out of there, and it's only 2x10s. And conditions seem to vary a little bit, but you can't really stick in quite as far as down below, but you don't really want to be able to stick a screwdriver or something in at all. So yeah, that is not the softest ever, but definitely not fantastic. And that stretch there I haven't gotten to, but they don't look great from here, so not looking super duper promising. Got some cracks. Yeah, probably not, or probably I should say, probably headed the direction that we expected, that we are not going to bother trying to save these, which with as much as we need to do with redoing the whole stair opening anyway, and we already know the back, except for a couple, are no good, and when you only have a couple good, there's no sense in trying to save a couple. You can also see we got the door from across the street hung up, and over time the jamb has shifted a touch. It doesn't quite want to go in, but can always persuade it over a little or cut it a little if needed. This is all just temporary anyway. So yeah, you don't want to just be able to stick your screwdriver, oh, there we go, in, and these are going a little bit, but they're also kind of crushing and sinking. This you can push in, that's sinking. And then up here, I think the tenon has broken and it's separating, so this, well, these outer joists are kind of okay. They're not pretty, but they seem strong. With that broken, we're going to have to redo this anyway, so no reason to try to reuse the middle joists because we gotta shorten them. It'd be really tough to put this back in without taking them out. So at that point, since they are 2x10s, they're not super duper expensive. Lumber's at the moment not terribly priced. We'll see if things change. So I think it is easier just to go ahead and do all these probably, and then we'll be able to level it out really nicely, hopefully. I don't want to be wasteful, of course, but you know, we're trying to rebuild this to last another 100-something years without major rebuilds like this. So we got the opportunity to do it now. I don't think there's much of a reason not to for the amount of money that it takes. There are things to be cheap on, and there are things not to be cheap on. And structure is not where you want to be cheap. So, in better news, back door's secured. We'll just need to get a new lock set so we actually have a key that works on it. So, securing it with screws for the moment because it's going to need a little more work. But otherwise, it's about 32 degrees at the moment and raining. So we're not going to do much more today, I don't think. So since we're closing that door up, I think we'll go ahead and wrap things up here. So thanks for watching. We're glad you were here to rebuild with us. Hopefully you enjoyed what you saw. We'd appreciate a like and a subscription. I'm all thrown off by Dave. And next time we're back out here, we will be destroying this second floor. So look forward to doing that. Hopefully you'll tune in. Again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.